Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. In this video, I'll give you some important news that just came out of Arizona, some important comments about Janet Yellen, the next US Treasury Secretary. And while we are on the subject of US Treasury Secretaries, I'll give you some important comments that were just made by a former US Treasury Secretary about the importance of doing stimulus right now. Thank you so much for watching my channel. My name is Dr. Chhoda. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. Let's just jump right in. On your screen, you'll see an article from CNBC, and CNBC just reported that Arizona certified the election for President-elect Biden. So Arizona has certified the election for President-elect Biden. This is another win for Biden, and all of the president's efforts to contest the election are ongoing. I've done videos today about what President Trump has been saying. President Trump has been asking the FBI, the Department of Justice to get involved. And I've talked to you about what President Trump's supporters believe as far as the election outcome is concerned. We are a very deeply divided country. That much is obvious. So keep in mind, again, that Arizona has certified the election and 11 electoral college votes will essentially go to Biden. And Biden is projected to get 306 electoral college votes compared with 232 electoral college votes for Trump. That is what it's looking like at the moment. And keep in mind that this happened, the results from Arizona came in at the same time as members of the Trump legal team, including former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, have been essentially making announcements and doing press conferences about voter fraud. Now let's shift gears a little bit and see what some important US senators are saying about the next US Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen. And Chuck Grassley from Iowa, who's the senior senator from Iowa, said this back in 2014. I'm actually going to show you on your screen essentially his statement in January of 2014. And I'll highlight something that he said back in 2014, and you can see this at the end of his statement. And he said, "My concerns about the Fed's easy money policies and inflation led me to vote against Chairman Bernanke for his second term at the Fed. Because it appears that Ms. Yellen will continue to pursue these misguided policies, I cannot in good conscience vote in favor of her confirmation." Now, this is Senator Chuck Grassley talking about Janet Yellen's confirmation as the Federal Reserve, as the head of the Federal Reserve. Now, keep in mind, she was the head of the Federal Reserve from 2014 to 2018, but she clearly did not have the support of Senator Chuck Grassley at that time. Well, guess what? Today, you'll see this tweet on your screen from Saleha Mohsen, who's a senior reporter covering the United States Treasury Department for Bloomberg News. Chuck Grassley today, when he was asked to comment on Yellen as Biden's Treasury Secretary, he said, "I believe she would get a favorable view." So I just thought that was an interesting contrast for our viewers and subscribers to be aware of. Now, keep in mind that this is a completely different economy compared to 2014. So, this is not a normal situation. So if there's going to be more borrowing, if there's going to be more economic stimulus, especially at the very low interest rate that we have right now, maybe that's why Senator Grassley changed his mind. Speaking of changing minds, Jack Lew, actually his name is Jacob Joseph Lew, also known as Jack Lew, was the 76th United States Treasury Secretary from 2013 to 2017. He was actually interviewed on CNBC, and he said some things that I thought were extremely interesting, and I want us to actually take a look at one of his segments. He said essentially that markets make their own decisions and the Treasury Secretary should focus on the fundamentals of the economy. The job is not complete. There's a lot of work to be done. He was specifically asked, hey, there's a big disconnect between the stock market, which is at all-time highs, and the economy because people are struggling. I've talked about this on my channel. Individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality are struggling. Long-term unemployment, permanent unemployment is rising. Just some shocking numbers as far as permanent unemployment are concerned. So what can explain this disconnect? Why is there a disconnect between the stock market and real life for the everyday American? And let's listen to what Jack Lew had to say, the former United States Treasury Secretary. He also chimed in at the start of this interview on his thoughts about Janet Yellen. And it seems like Janet Yellen is getting support from both sides of the aisle. But let's hear Jack Lew's thoughts on Janet Yellen. Let's hear his thoughts on the stock market, on what the United States Treasury needs to do for us to get out of this mess that we are in. Let's roll the tape.
I think she has long made the case that you need to have fiscal policy do its job during a crisis, and that there is still a need for fiscal stimulus now. So I think that would be one of the issues that she's already spoken to publicly before talk of her nomination.
Do you think she would find approval in the Senate easy?
Look, I've seen Janet in many settings, and she has great respect. I think she will have a lot of support in the Senate. I certainly hope that's true for all of the nominees. But I think she has a background that is in some ways without equal. I mean, she has all of the different skills and parts of the background that a Treasury Secretary needs. And she's got a reputation in international and domestic economic and financial circles. And she's an extraordinary teacher. I mean, she helps people understand the decisions that they have to make, even when it's very complicated technical issues. She makes it to make. Even when it's very complicated technical issues, she makes it very easy to understand.
Can't help but notice that the Dow topped 30,000 today, a remarkable rise from March, just a tremendous bull run since then. Throughout 2020, people have been pointing out just the tremendous disconnect between what's going on with the stock market and what's going on the ground with regard to the economy. What do you think the Treasury Department should be doing in order to bridge that gap?
So I think the Treasury Department has to focus on the fundamentals in the economy, and markets make their own decisions with each of the actors responding on their own for their own reasons. I think obviously with the clarity now that their transition will go forward, and now that we see that it will go forward more smoothly with names that are reassuring, I think that gives long-term confidence that we're on a better path, and that the tumult of the last 4 years will be replaced by a kind of clear-minded policy, and that's good for confidence. It's good for business. I think what Treasury ought to have been doing and needs to continue to be doing is doing what it can to put the fiscal tools in place to deal with what's still a crisis. And I think that job is not yet complete.
Now, the next segment is very important. Jack Lew said that we're heading into a bad few months. He said it's going to be a rough winter. He said it's going to be a long winter ahead. And he said Congress needs to act now. And he said if Congress acts now, then, we should hopefully be okay. Otherwise, a lot of damage can be done, and a lot of the damage is indeed avoidable. This was very interesting what he said. Again, keep in mind, Jack Lew is the former United States Treasury Secretary, so he knows what he's talking about, and we should pay attention to this. And hopefully Congress is listening. Hopefully people in the Senate are listening. Hopefully people in the House are listening, and hopefully they can come to an agreement. Let's listen to what Jack Lew had to say.
So, Mr. Secretary, if there are to be rebalancing effects coming out of Treasury for the broader economy and for society as a whole, balancing effects coming out of Treasury for the broader economy and for society as a whole, is that something that doesn't come into taxes would go up in your eyes that you think would be the right ones?
I certainly hope that step number one is more emergency stimulus. We have an economy that is heading into a bad few months because of the disease that is still not under control. With all the good news about the vaccine, the real relief won't come until spring, late spring or summer. That means that we have a long winter ahead, and the time to act is now. Congress should act before the end of the year. It should act decisively. I hope that this can be something of a confidence-building measure where the two sides can start learning how to do business with each other again, and then move on to an investment program in a recovery package to deal with the long-term tail of the economic pain that we're going to be coming out of. Even after the health crisis is over and the economy is starting to heal, it's going to take a while, and we're going to need to invest in the economy for that recovery to be strong.
What's at stake if they don't act, though? Obviously, it's been several months since we've seen any sort of real momentum on that front. What's it going to take for them to act? And what are some of the stakes if they actually sit on their hands and don't do anything?
Look, I've said for some time that it's playing with fire. The third quarter GDP numbers were obviously good news, but it left the economy 3.5% smaller than before the crisis. That's before the second wave hits in full force. What does it mean? It means that millions of families are going to face eviction if there's not action. It means that millions of families are going to face hunger when they don't have enough money to put food on the table. It means that state and local governments are going to run short on dealing with their regular responsibilities and the emergency requirements because they won't have gotten the assistance they need. And it means that small businesses won't get the lifeline so that neighborhood businesses like restaurants can make it to the other side. These things won't wait. If Congress doesn't act now, if they don't act before the end of the year, between now and February, a lot of damage will be done, and that damage can be avoided.
That's it, everybody. Let me know what you thought of Jack Lew's comments in the comment section below. You'll find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. Do you believe there'll be a lot of long-term damage to the economy if stimulus doesn't happen now? Do you believe we should have a big stimulus or a small stimulus? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, you'll find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. What an incredible day. What an incredible news cycle. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. If you learn something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button. Please share this video with friends and family. Please ignite that subscribe button and ignite that notification button, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. East Coast time. Get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000, that's 70000, and then you'll get added to SMS alerts list going forward. If you want, you can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you can get added to our email list. You can opt out of the SMS list or the email list at any point in time that you want. No worries about that. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So please make sure to follow us on Instagram. You can also, if you want, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. Follow us on Twitter to get breaking news and alerts from us on Twitter. Now, sometimes YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. That happens with technology. We're living in an age of technology. All you have to do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then you can visit the homepage of our channel and watch our videos at any point in time that you want. I think you'll find that extremely beneficial. As always, if you learn something new from this video, please consider sharing this video with friends and family so that we can help grow our community. Also, keep in mind that you can always comment below and participate in our growing community. Our community is growing. We are bipartisan. We are respectful. We are intelligent. And you'll make some new friends in our community. Keep in mind, for us in our community, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. So for us, it's about putting the country first and not really getting into arguments about whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, pro-Biden or anti-Biden. Keep in mind that on this channel, I'll report the truth. I'll report the truth as it emerges. And, I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not anti-Trump. I'm not pro-Biden. I'm not anti-Biden. I will report the news as it comes out. And so that is what you're going to get on this channel. You're not going to get any false hope. You're not going to get any hype. You're not going to get some clickbait like, stimulus check approved when there's nothing approved. And this channel is more than a stimulus channel. This channel is about matters that are important to the economy and matters that are important to your money. So again, this channel is about country, economy, and money. Once again, if you learn something new from this video, please consider sharing this video with friends and family. You will always find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. So definitely check out our description section. One last time, please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.